welcome to the 7th lecture of the Convivial Design series. Today I'm going to be talking about convivial design. In recent short videos I've been describing how it's the end of the strategy document era. How do we become more tactical and relational in policy implementation? This is where convivial design comes in. As I've shared, I always do a creative prompt at the beginning to give an essence of what the talk is about from an intuitive perspective. And today I actually pulled 5 cards. The first card was the Sun card. So we need great vibrancy in shifting from this more static documentation era, and we need to move into action-focused era. The second is the High Priest. This is traditional, this is symbolic of traditional institutions and ways of doing things. So what we're facing is an old guard and an old institutional norm that needs to shift, and we need to apply great wisdom and courage to shift those norms. And the third card that I pulled was Valerian, the 9 of Swords. So it's like a really anxious person sitting there with nine swords, which symbolizes the mind. So anxiousness and worry. And I think that when we are going through rapid change, there can be a lot of anxiety, but that's why I actually pulled 2 more cards, because I never like to end on a negative. I'm all about solutions. So the next 2 cards were actually light at the end of the tunnel. The first card I pulled after the anxious card was the Magician. So we need to manifest and through our action and courage create that new way of doing things. And that's what I'm providing here today with the convivial design methodology. And then 10 of Pentacles. We're creating a life, a vibrant and happy way of life for people. So we are in this policymaking space and in community development and local economic development because we're stewards of the future. And that's our aim. So always keep in mind that we do have the Sun energy with us, which is this vibrancy, and we're working towards creating healthy communities and healthy places. And it's going to take great courage, but it's a joyful process. So here we have convivial design, and I write about it in my book Conviv. But essentially, convivial design is both relational and tactical way to bring about change, tangible changes. Relational is conversations, is community engagement, but with a purpose. It's infused with this tactical. Okay, so we're meeting with the community, but we're actually going, okay, what do you want to design? What are your needs? What are the priorities based on your strategy documents in a community? And okay, now what are we going to do? So for example, the Huon Valley Food Hub project, we had priority areas based on the strategic vision, but then we designed around those priority areas. So firstly, we designed that there was a need for more small-scale growers. So we created a farm gate blitz program which funded 10 farm gate blitzes in the Huon Valley. And those blitzes had $1,000 for each one, where an educator was hired to design the garden and the space to grow food. And then another $500 went to soil, seed, and whatever was needed on the farm to get it going. Some of those farms still exist today. So this brought the strategy down into a relational and tactical outcome. So tactical can also relate to an event. We might run a practical event where we are engaging the community. So we have this cart with a heart where we bought food off local people and we parked it, this beautiful old school medieval looking cart, in the middle of the public space of Huonville and actually all across the Huon Valley. And we engaged the community. So we were creating relationships and networking, but we were also buying local food and giving that food to the community to taste and tune into the local food system in that way. So we were spending the budget in really tactical and relational ways. Thirdly, tactical can also be about really that chess game inside the organization. So I want to introduce this idea of redirection of a brief. And this can be one of the most important and significant things that you working inside an institution can do. If there is a $70,000 budget for a project and 80% of it is focused on engaging in that more traditional way without a tactical action-focused strategy behind it, you might need to speak to your manager or director, or as the manager and director, and ask the question, could this money be spent in a more implementable and practical way in a co-design process with the community? And that's something called redirection of a brief, where you make a strategic decision to redirect the budget for better fiscal management, essentially, better outcomes for the community, the local economy, and the food resilience of a place. So redirection of the brief is another really important element here. So I've covered off an essence of what convivial design is. I can go into more detail on that when I'm working with people in the Activating Local Food Systems course cohort, because we will have really tangible issues that we can work through that cohort and find ways to bring convivial design into local governance. And then we could also call this convivial governance. One more idea that's just come. I've just given quite a lot of examples from a local government context, but I also see this really a very relevant topic to talk about in the not-for-profit space and even in progressive campaigning space. Again, there's a lot of abstraction and slogans, but not enough tactical, operational action. And when there's platforms with up to 100,000 or more people in these progressive platforms really campaigning on an issue, we have to have great responsibility to enable the communities that are following these progressive platforms to actually steward and take action in their places beyond protest and beyond outrage. So convivial governance and convivial design provides methodologies and ways to address root cause issues and start to take action in places all over the world, because people are really needing this now. We need to anchor people. We need to create practical outcomes on the ground, not just have an abstracted situation like we have right now, where whether it's a slogan that's shared all across social media, or whether that's a document that's archived in a local government or state government space. Everything has to come alive now, and we're stewarding on the earth. And that's why Living Earth College is existing, to bring this change about. So get in touch, join the course, and spread the word about Living Earth College and the methodologies that we're bringing forward. Thanks.